My first post this morning before the market, I said, hey, y'all, that 10-year note is pressure. It wasn't even China that put pressure on it. It was people inside America that pushed pressure on it. You know why? Because when everybody went to go to them bonds, see, what we got to understand is, what is the 10-year? There you go. That 10-year went up and that oil went down. See, when those two things happen, listen, this wasn't even much about China, because him and China have been beefing all day ago. They gonna beef. But when that 10-year pops up, and I want people to understand, it's like, it's not about, listen, here's the thing. He didn't even fold to China. Let me get that out there. He didn't even fold to China. He folded to American pressure. Hear me well. He didn't fold to China. He folded to American pressure. And that's all I'm saying. Like, bro, he folded. I don't care how strong you want to be. I don't care how gangster you want to be. Hey, when you see that go on, it's a different ball game. Right? So here's what we got to understand. I want all y'all to do the homework. I want y'all to do the homework. This is what I love. 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 There's certain people in this market that they name hold weight. Jamie Dimon, name holds weight. Larry Fink, name holds weight. Bill Ackman, name actually holds weight. And on April 2nd, the world was expecting him to say, okay, 10% on everybody. We can do business like that. It's okay, because everybody was still willing to do what? Everybody was willing to negotiate. And that's what I want people to understand. There was nobody that was saying they don't want to negotiate. Nobody was saying, like, we don't want to negotiate, we don't want to talk. That wasn't what was happening. Everybody was like, hey, bro, if you want to negotiate, let's negotiate. The way you going about doing this is not how you negotiate. You know what I'm saying? Warren Buffett name definitely hold weight, but Buffett was like, this is stupid. You know what I'm saying? The OG name hold weight for sure. So what happens is, everybody, no, he needed to fold. And watch what I say. No, you justifying that. That ain't got nothing to do with restructuring the debt, yo. Here's what happened. That don't got nothing to do, and that's the thing. People be talking about what they hear instead of what goes on. I know you got to look at the economics. You got to look at the economy so you can understand. Yeah, he trying to restructure the debt and all that. We got to do that regardless. There's ways to go about doing that. You don't lose 11 trillion. You don't lose trillions of dollars to restructure the debt. The stock market is the pretty face. The bond market is the heart and soul of America. And that's what people don't know. The stock market is the pretty face. It's the, hey, look, we making money. Hey, look, we good. Man, it's a fold, man. But it's not folding to China. It's folding to American pressure. You got to fold to that. You got to, and mind you, for me, I just want to get to business. But what happens is, here's why, when you put that tariff on China, China double backs, put the tariff on you. Everybody watching like, bruh, what the hell? So now what happened is, the people in the bond market, that's who make it fold. That's what happened. The people in the bond market said, hey, check this out. Nah, you playing this game? Guess what we about to do? The bond went from 3.9. That's right, the TLT, 100%. You know what you're looking at. When the bond market went from 3.9 to 4.6 yesterday, spiked again, and went to 4.5 yesterday, spiked to 4.6, came down to 4.5. At that point, you know one thing. All it had done dropped. It's a problem. Because not only are people paying more money with these tariffs by the thousands, now the bond market says, hey, now to borrow money has gotten higher. Now housing mortgages just got higher. Now credit cards just got higher. So everything got higher with the tariffs, and then you put them bonds on it because the 10 years sets the interest rate, y'all. The 10 years set the interest rate. it should have hurt China more though, because their economy relies on the imports. Now, let's talk about that. That's cool to say that. You got to realize that China doesn't just do that from America. They do that from they are the largest manufacturer in the world. So yes, everybody wants the American consumer, but you will fall off regardless. You will hurt. And China never said this not gonna hurt. They said, but we can endure because we can still shop with everybody else. We can still shop with everybody else. Everybody else still gonna shop with us because we embedded in everybody's economy, right? But I want y'all to understand something right here. And I'm gonna show y'all something right here to show y'all that this not just me talking. This is literally what's happening.
Scott, that's right. Just a couple of comments here to flag for you. One is that when the president was asked why he decided to put in this 90-day pause, he said, well, I thought people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy. You know, they were getting a little bit yippy.
So people started selling bonds.
So the president, presumably they're talking about financial markets. He also said he was watching the bond market last night. He said people were getting a little bit queasy in the bond market last night, but he said that...
This ain't my words. This the president's words. This ain't my words. It's the president's words. This ain't my words. It's the president's words. And what did he say? I was watching that bond market last night. I don't care how much I want beef. I'm watching that bond market last night. And that bond market said, I'm tripping. The bond market. So it was the pressure from the inside America. People said, hey, since nobody can't talk to him, this is how we get his attention. Because here's the thing. You started hearing this. The bond market is just this. That means something about to break. That's the last thing you won't hear. Something about the breaks. Let's go a little further.
The bond market looks to him beautiful. And also the president was talking about some of the people he was watching on television, including Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan. The president said he watched Jamie Dimon's interview on television this morning. And we saw Jamie Dimon saying that the likelihood of a recession was now increasing. That comment clearly resonated with the president, who said that he views Jamie Dimon as somebody who's worth listening to on Wall Street. So there was this debate about, whether Wall Street CEOs could even reach this president and make their point to him. And it turns out that one of the ways to reach the president is by going on TV and talking through the television to him. Scott?
Eamon, thanks. I think anybody who's played...
Money talk. Money talk. Money talk. Hey, check it out. You can be angry all you want. Bet. The stock market crashing? Cool. You not tripping on that? Okay. Bet. Okay, y'all. The stock market sell-off ain't hurting him. Okay. Here's how we get his attention. That bond goes from 3.9 to 4.6. 10 year. You have a bond market auction today that ain't. Then you got, watch this. Japan start selling some of them bonds. Came on today. And then watch this. Watch this. In the auction, the bonds weren't attractive. Because the bonds is how America finances everything. It's how we finance, right? So we finance things by saying, let's say I wanted to say, you know what, bro? Like, I don't want to come out of my pocket to build this building. I don't want to come out of my pocket to renegotiate. I don't want to go in debt. And I don't want to go in debt, and I don't want to. But I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to go in debt with the bank. Not only do I not want to go in debt with the bank, I also want to use my money. Here's what I do want to do though. I want to get this building built, and I want to make this building look really good. So here's what I get to do. I get to say, hey, check this out, y'all. It's gonna take me, I don't know. Let's put a number out there. $1 million. It'll take me $1 million to get this building the way I want to do it. So here's what I'm going to do, y'all. I'm going to put these bonds out there. I'm going to let you buy this bond. This bond will cost, it will be a $50,000 bond. Okay. Right? Be a $50,000 bond that gives a 10% return every year.
Okay.
For the nature of the bond.
10% per year.
Yep, for the nature of the bond. Okay. Now, the bond is a 4-year bond.
Okay.
All right. So if you say, we use that as an example. So what that means is, we said the bond is $50,000, right?
Yep.
So 2 bonds, if you bought 2 bonds, that's $100,000, okay. Which means I now have on the market 20 bonds. Does that make sense?
20 because it's 50K.
50K a piece, and I need $1 million.
Okay.
I need $1 million. So now I got 20 bonds on the market at $50,000 a piece, right? And I'm giving you 10% return per year until the bond matures. Now, when the bond matures, I got to give you your investment back. That's the nature of bonds. Okay. So now mind you, in the market, you don't never get no 10%. You get 2%, 1%, but it's so the reason why these bonds are good because they are called government bonds. There's a difference between government bonds and corporate bonds. A corporate bond is some shit a business has, and it actually that is risky because businesses go out of business.
Okay.
Right? America, for the most part, ain't gonna go out of business.
Yeah.
Because they get to print money.
So they get that. Okay.
So they get to print the money.
That's why other countries. You said that yesterday on Trapping.
I said it on Trapping Tuesday. So what happens is, watch this. America gets to put the bonds out, okay. Right? But watch this. When the bond's not attractive, that's a problem.
If the bonds aren't attractive, that means that they don't believe in.
They don't believe what's going on.
They don't believe they're going to get the reinvestment back.
I don't believe. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
So they don't believe. So if the bonds go, wait, hold on. So the bonds are not interested.
So now I gotta increase the nature of the bond. Watch this. This is about to be a good lesson for you.
This is good.
Now I gotta keep increasing the nature of which the bond gives you a return because it's not attractive. Let me make it make sense to you. So I'm giving you this bond on my building. I'm saying, Sean, I got $50,000 bonds because I need $1 million. Yep. I'm giving you 10%. Okay. You get that 10% every year. So we said the bond is for 4 years. And you say, Trap, so that means at the end of the 4 years, I get to give you your money back.
Yeah.
Not only do I pay you the interest, but I get to give you your money back. Dang. That's free money. That's how Warren Buffett making so much money on niggas. So watch this. Okay. I get all the investors and people like, you know what? Nah, I don't trust Trap. He risky. So I say, hey, Sean, everybody listen.
Yep.
Instead of paying you 10% on a bond, I'm going to pay you 15% interest every year now. So now instead of paying you, I was going to pay you $5,000, if I think I'm correct. Now I'm going to pay you $6,500. And now you look at me and say, I'm straight. So now I got to go from $6,500, I got to come up with something else. So now guess what? Now I got to raise the interest on the bond and say, okay, now I'm giving y'all 20% on the bond. Which now puts me at $7,000 of interest that I got to give everybody. And then at the end of the bond, I got to give everybody their money back. So now let me make that make sense in the situation with America. Why interest rates are so important? Because the 10-year bond, the 10-year note is the note that measures credit, mortgages, loans. All of that is based off the 10-year.
Okay.
Everything is based off the 10-year. It's also, it costs more to borrow money. So watch this. There's a thing called the Fed fund rate. Okay. So what the Fed fund rate is, it's the rate at which banks get money from the Fed. Okay. Or it's called the overnight rate. So it's the bank answer. Let's say I'm the bank. You say, Trap, I want to get some money from you. No, I'm the Fed. I'm the money printer. And you a bank. You say, Trap, I want to get some money from you. I'm going to charge you something.
Yeah.
You get to go out to the people when they come to you. You get to charge them something. But now, because that 10-year is not attractive, mind you, in 2 days it went from 3.9 to 4.5. That means nobody ain't won't buy that joker.
Yeah, no. Ooh.
Why nobody ain't buying? That mean people was selling it.
So when the yield increases,
That mean it's not attractive. It's hard for America to give people bonds. When it's not attractive, that means people don't want to get the bonds. And if people don't want to get the bonds, America can't finance shit.
and we already need it.
And we need the money, which is why at 4 or 5, hey, we on our way. I'm going to tell you why that's even more important. If you go back last year to 2024, watch this. The 10-year hit 5.2. We was in a Patreon. I said, hey, y'all, listen. If this 10-year don't come under 5, we in trouble. Something gonna break.
Yeah, in a bad way. So when
Anytime the 10-year get above 4.5, that's the threshold. 4.5, red alert.
Yeah.
It touched 4.6. Now, what made this situation really bad was because this is self-imposed.
Okay. Yeah,
They had wars going on last year.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's when the Fed came in and said, watch this, let's cut rates.
Okay.
So the Fed came up off the pressure. If you pay attention to that 10-year, it's always going to tell you how much pressure we under.
Okay.
That's why, for me, as a person that play long-term and play options, I always say, hey, what that 10-year doing? Because that's going to tell me how much pressure we under. If that 10-year at 3.9, all right, they can still, it gets to 4.1, nah, they ain't tripping. 4.3, they ain't. Once it touch 4.5, hit the button, fam. Hit the button. We in trouble.
Yeah.
Shit done got real.
Dang.
So that's why you heard the president say what? I was looking at the bond. You can be tough all you want, bro.
Facts.
Bro, you can be tough all you want. And everybody got to deal with it.
Yeah.
The people put you in office, we got to deal with it. But guess what, dog? When you putting 100 and some% tariffs on China, that made the bond people say, nah, fuck that. We ain't. Here's what made it worse, though. Not only did people start selling bonds, but today at the bond auction, nobody was buying the bonds.
Oh, that's bad. So they're selling it, and then
not only that, the demand for oil went down. It's not a good thing.
How's that correlated to? Is that correlated to that?
Because watch this, we not the biggest oil producer, but we got the biggest oil reserve.
Okay.
So we holding a whole bunch of oil. What people don't realize is oil is 100% the blood of the world.
Yeah.
Which makes America powerful because we have what's called a petrodollar, meaning you cannot buy oil outside of the American dollar. Except China and Russia just did something earlier, was like, nah, we ain't even rocking with that. Now, the thing about that situation was, if you go back and look, the reason why America killed Gaddafi was because he said, all African nations, we gonna sell oil in the dinar, and we gonna back that by gold. And we all gonna come together and put the world on it. No, sir. No, sir. You will not threaten this petrodollar.
Yep.
That's what America said. It's another issue why Saddam Hussein was an issue. You got all that oil, bro. You trying to do what?
Yeah.
Nah. We already not backing a dollar by gold. You definitely not about to make the world not do. Go look up the petrodollar. So what makes it even dope is because America is the reserve currency of the world. One, because we are the biggest consumer nation, but because we don't literally back it by the dollar, but we make everybody do oil transactions in the dollar. And it's not that we made it. It's not that we actually made it. We put it in contract. So after World War II, when America became the big dog, that's when America came to power.
Yeah.
World War II, they came to power. The reason why they came to power, because at that time, we still was a superpower manufacturer. How does the world know we were a superpower manufacturer? Not only did we help other countries finance the war because we were so rich off slave labor, but America shut down Ford, all these other plants, and said, hey, everybody, Let's build tanks together. Let's build weapons together. Let's build bullets together. Let's build missiles together. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you're a shoe shine man. Black and white. Hey, we gonna build.
Yep.
So that meant America was a superpower because we didn't have to go nowhere to build shit.
Yeah. We did everything here.
We did everything here. And so in the process of that, everybody said, oh. And then they wound up so-called winning. But they defeated, it was like, oh, okay. They big dogs. So we lived off that. And so then once you get into big dog status, you start saying, oh, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And what was the thing they said we gonna do? Hey, one of the deals came in. Hey, if you gonna do oil, if you gonna sell oil or anything, you gonna do it in the petrodollar, dog. If you try to buy oil in any other dollar, but this dollar is war.
It's war, yeah.
It's war.
And you talked about that with the changing order.
With the change in order. Because now when your dollar ain't the dollar no more,
and now, all your, yeah.
So what happens is we now make the world, the dollar is still, you know what makes America, so we can say that China, so the superpowers of the world right now are China, America, Russia. They the big dogs. If Russia could kind of be in and out with some other countries, probably Iran, something like that. The EU is powerful, but they ain't that powerful. They powerful, but they don't really want to go to war like that. You know what I'm saying? Like their strength. So you cannot deny what China represents.
Yeah.
So what happens is, the thing that keeps everybody at bay is the fact that even though we don't like each other, we all got to do business with each other.
Yeah.
It's world trade. We sell the shit we good at. The mad thing about America is we got so rich, and this happened with every great country. You got so rich, you didn't keep building infrastructure on top of it. Mm-hmm. Right? Because the greatest thing about America is you get luxury goods.
Yeah.
A luxury good is anything you get from outside of America.
Yeah.
So you start getting these, coats and so America says, yo, we got so much money, dog. Nobody got time to be, watch this. Nobody don't got time to be working in no factory. We got away from the thing that made us great. The Industrial Revolution was America building these factories and you working at Ford, you working at these steel plants, you factory base. So it made you great. But then you start getting off of that. You start saying, man, ain't nobody got time for that shit, man.
Start slowing down.
I ain't building that shit, man.
Yep.
I ain't building no damn. I ain't gonna work in no damn factory, dog. I ain't working no factory. I ain't doing that, man. You trip. It's America. American dream.